When food is scarce and animals need to find food every day, sometimes fighting over it is inevitable. Have you ever seen a leopard steal food from a hyena? How do you suppose a jackal deals with vultures that want the same food? If you want answers to these questions, keep watching as we count down 15 terrific moments of animals fighting over food. Number 15. Leopards. These two leopards don't want to share this impala. I'm not sure if they killed it together, which I doubt, but they both ended up on the tree and neither wants to let go of the carcass. As one of the leopards pulls away with most of the carcass, the other tears out a leg, but it's not enough, so a scuffle occurs and both cats almost fall off the tree. Eventually, the leopard without the carcass turns away and moves away, lying down on a huge branch, while the other leopard stands over the carcass. Once things seem to have calmed down, the leopard with the carcass finally begins to enjoy his meal. These two female leopards clash over a kill, but one of the females is much bigger than the other, and it doesn't take much time before she realizes this. After a few bites and scratches, one of the leopards runs off and climbs a tree.
The Fanatic brings you all the best content you want to see when it comes to the animal kingdom. If you want to see the latest confrontations between animals and the best animal videos, please subscribe now. We post new videos every day for your entertainment.
Number 14. Lion and crocodile. A male lion and a shrew of females tell this crocodile to return to its natural habitat. The crocodile informs the lion he does not own the land and it is free to use by all. For a moment, the two argue, hurling obscenities and threats at one another, but eventually calm down and ignore each other. These two male lions are looking for something tangible to eat when they inspect this massive hippo carcass, but the crocodiles lurk nearby and alert the lions. The crocodiles startle one of the lions, but it isn't enough to scare the lions away. One of the lions even ventures deeper into the water to examine the hippo, but you can tell it's wary and scanning the area for threats. A crocodile leaps from the water, but it misses the lion, and the feline leaps out without hesitation. Most fights between lions and crocodiles are over food. It's not like one of these big predators is out to eat the other, so when they cross paths, it's usually over food. And this fight is no exception, with the crocodile inviting himself to the table where a few lions eat a buffalo carcass. The cats are irritated, and one of them even attempts to strike the crocodile. When the crocodile pokes his head into the buffalo's carcass and pulls out some meat, the three lions stand up and gently tap the reptile on the back with their paws. The crocodile is unconcerned and swallows a piece of meat. The cats realize this guy isn't going anywhere, so they leave him alone. Number 13. Wild dogs and hyena. Hyenas are everyone's worst enemy, and wild dogs are no exception. When wild dogs and hyenas meet, anything can happen. The hyenas enjoy a good laugh, and the wild dogs love to eat. These wild dogs are waiting impatiently for this antelope to get out of the water, but the antelope knows what's waiting for it if it comes out of the water. The antelope gets too close for comfort when it approaches the riverbank, and some of the dogs grab and pull it out of the water. When a couple of crazy hyenas come rushing in to get a piece of the action, the dogs don't attack the hyenas, and it looks like these rivals will have to share the meal. Eventually, the dogs grab the carcass and take over, but the hyenas haven't said their last word. They come back for the carcass and manage to steal it from the dogs and run. Onlookers on a morning game drive were following some ecstatic hyenas. They were following a pack of wild dogs that had made a kill. These wild dogs attacked the hyenas, but they were outnumbered until more clan members arrived and stole the kill from the wild dogs. Number 12. Jackal and vultures. Scavengers have a reputation for being lazy moochers, but a life of chasing leftovers is not without its difficulties. Landing a meal often entails fiercely defending your spoils for Africa's vultures. Jackals are predatory as well as scavengers. When it comes to their turn, it's all about dominance and numbers, which means the more jackals there are, the less likely vultures will be able to scavenge. The more vultures there are in comparison to jackals, the more likely it is the vultures that will dominate the carcass and consume it. In this video, this jackal tries to fend off these hungry vultures. The vultures aren't aggressive, but they're patient. Eventually, the scavengers share the meal. 3 cheetahs abandon their meal to the benefit of these vultures. But when a few jackals come into the picture, they have no problem butting their noses in there and serving themselves. A scuffle ensues between the scavenger birds and the jackals, turning things into a free-for-all. This wake of vultures seem to have had their fill of this carcass, so when this jackal arrives to get some of the goodies for himself, the vultures don't intervene and watch the jackal enjoy his food. When competing for a carcass, vultures frequently clash with scavengers. In Kruger National Park, safari enthusiasts discovered a mixed group of vultures feeding on the remains of a wildebeest calf. Most of the birds were white-backed vultures, with 3 massive pink-headed lappet-faced vultures and 1 Cape griffon thrown in for good measure. With a lappet-faced vulture in pursuit, a black-backed jackal charged into the vultures and moved the spine of the wildebeest. The jackal retreated, then tried again, frightening the Cape griffon. The jackal grabbed the wildebeest hide this time, twisting off a leg, then retreated to the shade to eat it. The vultures resumed their feast on the last scraps of the kill. These vultures surround a lone jackal to get a piece of the carcass. The jackal tries to fend them off, but the scavengers wait for their turn and pull some of their carcass their way. The jackal ends up with the small piece and charges the vultures whenever he feels threatened by the big birds. Number 11. Wolves and bear. This black bear is engaged in a food fight with 3 white wolves. What else is new? The wolves are hungry and they try to fight the bear, but the bear is simply too large for them, so they decide to move on. These wolves have just killed something and their carcass is being threatened by a large bear. If the wolves do not give up their prey, the bear will unleash its full wrath. The wolves consider challenging the bear twice before deciding to let go of the carcass. They escape unharmed, even though the bear's message is clear. In this video, a wolf mother wants to feed her young, but the pack is not returned with food, and they are too late, leaving the young hungry. She is startled to hear crows. There's a feast nearby, perhaps there will be enough food for her and her puppy. The wolf mother starts to move, but this is bear territory. The bear is a glutton who refuses to share her food. However, the wolf mother is hungry and needs to feed her pups. She watches from a distance, waiting for the right moment to ask for some food. Her mission is challenging, and she may have to fight the bear. As the wolves encroach on their territory to steal the food, the bears become aware of the intrusion. The bears go on a rampage to scare the wolves and force them to flee. However, the wolf mother is unable to restrain herself and has chosen to fight for the food. The mother chases some of the bears, allowing it to quickly steal some of the food. The mother has succeeded in keeping the bears away from the food and rushes to get some. She is aware she must act quickly before the bears stop her. The bears are enraged, and the mother must flee before things become dangerous. She walks away and feeds her puppies. This lone bear doesn't seem bothered by the presence of wolves as he eats his meal. I guess he doesn't feel threatened just yet, but when one wolf tries to get closer, the bears turn around and lets the wolf know it's not welcome. Number 10. Crocodile eating crocodile. In our thumbnail, this crocodile has another crocodile in its mouth and is crushing it. I guess crocodiles don't always hunt wildebeest and zebras. In this video, a larger crocodile bites on a smaller one and begins to toss it around. It then proceeds to do the death roll. One of the keepers enters the enclosure and hits the crocodile on the head with a long stick, dispersing the reptiles in the process. This gigantic crocodile is eating a much smaller crocodile. You can hear the sounds of the crocodile crushing the smaller reptile as it swallows it whole. It sounds like he's eating chips, but just a lot crispier. These crocodiles found a dead crocodile and have no problem eating one of their own. I mean, the croc is dead, so might as well take advantage of the situation. While on a safari in the Kruger National Park, safari enthusiasts decided to visit the well-known Sunset Dam during a mid-morning game drive. When they arrived, they discovered a massive crocodile with another smaller crocodile in its mouth. They had initially assumed they would simply fight and that would be the end of it. The croc was initially caught by its tail and was on the verge of escaping when the larger cannibal crocodile went in for another bite, and sadly grabbed it in just the right place, making escape impossible. The whole thing lasted about an hour. When they returned to Sunset Dam later that afternoon, the larger crocodile was almost parading his kill around the dam, presumably relocating it to a more suitable place to eat. A feeding frenzy ensued, with the dead reptile being chopped into bits and pieces. While it is not uncommon for crocodiles of this size to eat smaller crocodiles, it is not often that you get to see it happen. Number 9. Lion and leopard. This leopard stole this lion's meal, and the lion is looking for it. The lion even climbs this tree, which is unusual, so he must really want it back. The leopard climbs up higher into the tree when he sees the lion get to his meal. There's no way the lion can catch a leopard in a tree because leopards are way too agile, but the lion doesn't care because he got what he came for. Here is a leopard climbing a tree with an animal carcass. The lioness wants what the leopard has and climbs up the tree to get it. The leopard moves up higher and the lioness abandons, the tree branch being too small. In the meantime, a few male lions arrive on the premises and one of them gives it a shot, but he's not even able to get as high as the lioness did. It's obvious lions are not very skilled at climbing trees. This lion practically gets to this leopard high up in a tree, but their combined weight along with the weight of the dead prey breaks the branch and they all fall to the ground. I'm sure the leopard was able to get away. This leopard is forced to move up a tree with his kill when a few lions try to get up there to get the leopard. One of the lions reaches the leopard, but after a scuffle, the lion falls off the branch to the ground. One male lion is seen climbing a tree with prey in mouth. That's impressive and surprising. Number 8. Badgers squabble over food. Badgers are crazy, and when these two badgers want the same food, one badger pushes the other one around. Surprisingly enough, one of the badgers leaves and the remaining badger has the food all to himself. Two more badgers scramble for food and they try to pick up as much as they can during a nightly escapade. Two of these badgers are young cubs and one is a tyrant. He tries to expel everyone. The loser takes a step back and slips off the patio. Number 7. Jackals versus impala. These jackals aren't stealing any food. They're just trying to kill this impala that's bigger than them. Well, guess what? With a little tenacity and grit, they managed to do so. Another impala is in trouble when a couple of jackals decide to hunt it down. One of the jackals keeps pulling on the impala's snout and the scuffle goes past sundown, but the impala is still alive. Number 6. Ravens. A raven and a great black back are both presents. Backed gulls fight over a pigeon carcass, while young herring and great black backs watch from the sidelines for a chance to steal some scraps. A few eagles and a bunch of ravens squabble over the body of a dead cow. The raven's strength is in numbers, but the eagles are no pushovers. All the birds try to intimidate the other, so they can get a piece of the cow. This raven hides some food, and then comes back to cling to this buzzard. For some reason, the buzzard ignores the raven, and instead picks a fight with the other buzzard, while the raven watches for a few seconds before taking more food. 3 turkey vultures and some fearless ravens engage in a food fight above Santa Monica Bay, until a helicopter arrives and ruffles their feathers. Number 5. Leopard steals food from hyena. This hyena argues with the leopard over a dead prey in the video. They each grab the prey on one end and pull on what's left of it. The leopard growls and the hyena laughs, but it's no laughing matter as they continue to tug at each other and try to steal the kill. Even though the hyena tries to grab the prize at the last second, the leopard eventually runs up a tree with it. This hyena is digging deep into this animal carcass for some tender meats, while the leopard is getting his end of it, but the big cat wants more, so he begins to pull the carcass toward him. Another leopard joins the fight and scares the leopard that is eating away. Meanwhile, the hyena realizes this is happening and comes back running to save the carcass, but it's too late because the leopard that stole the carcass is up in a tree. Leopards and hyenas are, without a doubt, the quintessential frenemies, and their relationship is best described as a toxic friendship at the very least. The leopard is considerably outnumbered, even while facing a pair of hyenas. But in this video, it's 1-on-1, and this leopard goes on the offensive to get a hold of this hyena's dead prey. This cheetah family is getting ready for dinner when they hear something. They leave their dinner on the table for a few seconds to check what the noise is. Meanwhile, a jackal walks into the kitchen and finds the dinner abandoned on the table. While the cheetahs are trying to figure out what's going on, a leopard sneaks into the kitchen and runs off with the cheetah's meal. Number 4. Badger and fox. A badger and a fox meet while out on a midnight stroll, both looking for something to eat. The fox attempts to chase the badger away, but after a few threats, the badger flees. I guess it wasn't in the mood to argue on this night. When a fox attempts to steal dog food, this badger takes it. The badger attacks and nearly rips the fox to shreds, but the fox escapes with only minor scrapes and bruises. A fox bothers this badger while he eats this dog food, But the badger is so hungry, he doesn't care. The fox is adamant and won't stop smelling and biting the badger's backside. The badger maintains his composure and continues to eat. Number 3. Eagle and coyote. A coyote and a bald eagle fight over a fresh deer carcass. The eagle stands over the carcass and begins to get a taste of the dead animal when a coyote comes to annoy it for a taste of the kill. But the eagle charges the coyote several times, trying to discourage it. However, the coyote is tenacious and tries over and over to get to the carcass, until it does and runs away with it, but drops it along the way. It's a continuous battle between the two animals for the coveted prize. These coyotes are eating through a large deer carcass when a few bald eagles encroach on their territory to get a piece of the action. The eagles rip out pieces of meat and fly off with them. The coyotes do the same thing. It's survival of the fittest in the cold of winter. A coyote sneaks up close to a kill and discreetly attempts to steal this eagle's kill. But the eagle doesn't approve and attacks the coyote. Number 2. Raccoons. These raccoons are enjoying a meal together, but there is a lot of tension in the air. Some of the raccoons are greedier than others and get upset when they see another raccoon eat some of their food. I mean, this is a buffet, and they should all be happy they're getting some. These raccoons are looking for food and they don't always get along. These people set up a camera so they could see which animal was stealing the cat's food. They noticed a few raccoons come into the yard, but apparently the cats did most of the fighting between themselves for the food. This deer is trying to get a drink of water, but the raccoon startles it and the deer moves away. Number 1. Wolverines versus wolves. In this conflict, 2 wolves are battling a wolverine. Isn't it supposed to be straightforward? Wrong. Even though the 2 wolves are attacking the wolverine from opposite directions, it can repel them and become the aggressor. The wolves appear fearful, and the wolverine has the audacity to approach the wolf's kill and eat at the same table as them. This battle between a wolverine and a wolf is spectacular. They're fighting over an animal carcass, and neither is willing to give an inch to the other. The semi-retractable claws are extended, and the specialized teeth are exposed. It's a full-fledged battle, and the wolverine stands firm against the mighty wolf. When a bear crashes their party, these wolverines are furious, but they don't flee. Even though the wolverines are still present, the bear is unconcerned. In the wild, when it's time to eat, animals have no scruples. If they're hungry, they will beg, bite, or steal. My favorite has to be the leopard stealing carcasses from the lions. What about you? Why don't you let us know what you think in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 15 terrific moments of animals fighting over food. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.